Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Edyston Concrete Talk. This is part one of two. We're diving into a awesome talk about concrete corrosion, and we're starting off with steel corrosion. So hang on to your seats, get your coffee ready. This is going to be a fun one, folks. Now, the reason why we care about this is because the concrete industry is inundated with the impact of concrete corrosion and corrosion of concrete and corrosion of steel. Now, when you look at it, there are 600,000 concrete uh, bridges in our national infrastructure, establishing this $48 billion a year industry. Of that, $8.3 billion is put back into concrete every year to deal with the maintenance associated with chemical and physical attack. Now we see this in marine environments because of the brackish seawater, the fatigue, the wetting and drying cycles, and the inevitable breakdown of concrete just to deal with this wetting and drying cycles, the volume changes, and of course the use of the concrete structure. And what this leads to is the concrete breaking down, the exposure of that reinforcing steel, and of course the the harsh reality, the steel corrosion that we see in the picture included. Not only do we see this in wharfs, jetties, but we also see this in our car parks, parking garages that might not have that brackish and seawater. If they're not located next to the shore, they might just from the cars picking it up and bringing it there. But in other areas where you see freezing and thawing, it's more from the de-icing salts and brines. And with that, and the inevitable fatigue and rolling and breakdown, we see the same type of damage, and all this damage goes back to the structural integrity of the concrete. So the question is, why do we care about this? And going back to the operational world, this is our reinforced concrete structure in the wild, in the operational world. And as we see, there's some massive deterioration, and inevitably that's going to compromise the reinforced concrete structure as it was designed. And when I say designed, it's that combination of concrete and reinforcing steel, the design of it all. And here we see going from the jetty to the reinforced concrete structure, it's a cross section of our concrete and our steel combination. And what we have here is a single reinforced concrete beam where we have the concrete surrounding our steel for one, a cover, and two, a compression layer that's going to balance out the tension that we get from our steel. Both of them working together to create that reinforced concrete structure. What we've done here is we've taken that cross section, we're examining the reinforcing steel interface. And the gray is the concrete and the brown is going to be our steel. And I'm going to zoom into it here. And zooming into it even more, what we find is not only do we have that interaction between the steel and the concrete or the interface, but at that interface, we're also going to have other things like water and contaminants that are in that poor water solution. So the wet corrosion process is an electrical process. And when the steel is exposed to oxygen and water, it rusts rapidly, and if precautions aren't taken, that loss of metal quickly becomes appreciable. Now, when we contain that loss in metal, all of a sudden we become this pacification layer, this protective layer that ensures that the steel is not going to further corrode. The problem is that we're not always in that perfect state, especially when we see these concrete structures that show bleeding. There's something going on here where that pacification layer is broken down, and that reaction that we see here that we're going to go through could be summarized with the simple equation of metal plus oxygen equals or yields a hydrated material oxide. And in our case for wet corrosion, this is a much faster track. And in this electrical process here, we see the iron oxide finds either deposits away from the corroding material or it deposits on the surface, but it does so that in a loose deposit, giving little to no protection. Again, that pacification layer that would protect the steel, it's a very unstable state in this case. Consequently, iron and hydroxides usually diffuse here in a liquid state, and therefore they do so rapidly. And this is where this pacification layer breaks down, because we have this nasty, vicious cycle of fluid and contaminants at our site. And that's normally where we have that deteriorated concrete that then leads to the deteriorated steel. And as it turns out, with conductive materials, the electrons can move very easily as well. So this process happens extremely fast as compared as when it would be in a dry state. And what happens is that rust layer starts to break down, depacifies, and the electrical process starts going again. And this is where we see that rust layer start destabilizing and increasing in size between the interfacial zone of the reinforcing steel and the concrete. And if this was a flexible or elastic environment, we would have no problem. We could see atomic dislocations and moving, but because we are in a more rigid, less plastic or elastic environment, there is a containment of stresses that ultimately overcome the shear capacity and tensile capacity of the hydrated cementitious matrix. Now, what we see on the surface is cracks starting to form, as we see in this photo right here, and that inevitably leads to an increase in the deterioration cycle due to a greater flow of water and the contaminants that water is going to bring through it. And that's ultimately how we get to this final image over here, where we see the steel and the gels bleeding out of the concrete like it was some sort of horror movie. And inevitably, this leads to the premature degradation and failure of the concrete structure. So stay tuned with us for part 2 as we get into how does the concrete deterioration contribute to this breakdown, and what can be done to revive that deteriorated and dying concrete so that we can increase the resiliency to further attack. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ding that bell for notifications. Go concrete, beat asphalt.